Hello.
Hey, there we go. It's like the Brady Bunch with everybody just popping in.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right. Shit, yeah, we got everybody here.
Yep.
Stuff. Let's do it.
All right. We'll do an intro, then we'll go from there. Ladies and gentlemen, listeners, watchers of the Heavy Metal History Podcast, we have the entirety of To the Grave here. We have Matt, we have Jack, we have Dane, we have Nick. Gentlemen, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having us, Dustin. We appreciate it, bro.
Pleasure. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've had an Australian band or musician on the podcast, so gotta support you homies down under. I guess that's what I used to say. The homies down
No,
under.
none of us need our ego boosted, dude, but we appreciate it.
Australia, let's go, lad.
Yeah.
Well, guys, the thing that I like to start with on this podcast is I like knowing about each of your personal heavy metal histories. So what I'll do is I'll start where we're at on my screen, and we'll kind of go around. So Matt, you're first on my screen. Basically, tell me those records and bands that you remember that kind of like got you into the genre, and even if there's some non-metal ones in there, I'm cool with that too, because like I feel like all that's valid into like people's journey of like getting into metal.
Okay.
Johnny and the Snipers.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think the first, taste of it was I had a friend give me a tape in high school that was Slayer's Rain in Blood on one side, and the other side was the complete Minor Threat discography. Yeah. That was like pretty big deal. For some reason, everyone was still rocking tapes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like it when you heard it, or did you hate it?
It was like, it kind of blew my mind that like that all existed.
Well, what did you listen to before that? What was like, surely, or did you just hate music? Like fucking.
I was just, like, this is when I was like 13. I wasn't really like music was around, really like into it or absorbing it, or I didn't really have like tastes. So that was the first thing. It was sick.
That's mad.
Kind of
especially
changed
on
my
a
life
cassette like that too.
Here we are. Yeah, dude. Like, what a combination. Yeah.
Yeah.
Up the Slayer.
All right, Jack, you're next on my screen. What about you?
I'm interested.
I think it was, What's
I'm
that?
interested.
Funny. It would have been Bring Me the Horizon. What was it? Suicide Season, I think I heard first. That.
Okay.
And then This Is Exile by Whitechapel. Those two probably I'd say definitely are the big ones from the start.
Yeah, Whitechapel is like a local band for me. I used to see them play all the time when they were like before Somatic even came out.
That's sick. Fuck.
Yeah,
Oh,
I got my nose broke at a local show they did with Suicide Silence back in like 2005, 6 maybe. It was before both their albums even came out, and like,
dude, I've seen footage of Whitechapel playing. I think it is in like 2005 or 6, and it looks like it's from another fucking timeline. It's crazy. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, different. Put it back.
Yeah, those guys, man, it was like, usually when you see bands, you're like, oh yeah, who knows what'll happen to them. But like from the moment they kind of hit the scene around here, everybody knew that like, yeah, these guys are gonna be fucking huge. It was crazy.
Well, that was
and then like, just blew up out of nowhere.
They were like, the video I saw was like kids do, but they sounded like Whitechapel. It was like, oh my god, man, they were always fucking like, yeah. Yeah.
So Dane,
well, good for you, Jack. Bring Me the Horizon. That's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Dane, you're next on the screen, man. What was your early heavy metal history there?
I'm next. Okay. I'm trying to figure out, I guess, where it started. Dude, I think it started with wrestling for me. So that's why I asked Max. I didn't really like music. My sister would just blare like My Chem, Fall Out Boy, all that shit all day, to the point where I just fucking hated it. Right. The closest I got to music was like Akon, and Eminem. This is when I was in like, 11, right? Like, I was a kid. And then wrestling hit me like a brick, bro. And then all these like entrance themes but it was, I remember, it was 2005. I kind of forget what pay-per-view it was, but Mudvayne were on it, bro.
Oh shit.
And it was like, oh, there's like a breakdown in this. Like I was so yeah, and then high school hit, and then there were these like this group of metalheads that like showed me Bullet, Lamb of God, and then I think it was the first one was Suicide Silence Bludgeon to Death. So like someone showed me the video for that at school, and it was like it just shattered like everything else I was listening to didn't matter anymore, like after that. So yeah. Then it was like the cleansing and all that.
Yeah, that was a good era, man. Like between 2004 and like 7, the amount of bands that were like coming up at that time, I mean, just crazy.
Yeah.
Most of them are still around, but some aren't.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's what like I think the first band I think I found myself, like I went home, like okay, Suicide Silence was like it was like Oceano, like pre-depths, like like the demos and shit. So crazy.
Nick, you are next.
Well, I think I had a fairly interesting journey with the heavy metal side of things. I mean, I was pretty unconscious to music for the most part in like the early ages of my life, just sort of like placidly listening to whatever my parents would put on, like fucking Eskimo Joe, Michael Jackson, shit like that. There was some good stuff, I'm not gonna lie. But then I think it was like when Guitar Hero 3 came out, that shit like changed my world. Like opened my eyes to music in a whole different way. And like, yeah, going back to like what Matt said, Slayer, Rain and Blood, fucking Raining Blood, the track and like the final like level of Guitar Hero 3.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Song. Dude, that shit changed my life. It fucking opened a fire in me that I just, never knew existed. And like,
what was it, bro?
Yeah, from that point, just
I was gonna say Guitar Hero 3, just quickly what fucking before I forget, bro, like Redneck was it Late to Rest? Right. Just like come on. Needs its flowers.
Slow Ride. And that was the other thing as well. I kind of got into a lot more of the classic side of stuff. And like then I could listen to music with my stepdad. But I kind of like went, into electronic realms for a while. I started getting into like weird like dubstep shit. I was into Skrillex. Like this was like primary school, like really young. Well, not,
yeah.
Maybe like early high school, stuff like that. Really into like Biggie Smalls. And then I didn't really get into like, heavy metal, like deathcore, death metal shit until I met my mate Dust. And, he sort of showed me things like Die Artist Murder and Chelsea Grin. Bro, I remember like the first time I heard that stuff, I was so disgusted by it. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this vacuum noises that you're putting into my ear? And then like, it must be like a month, 2 months later, fell absolutely in love with it. And it was just like from there it was history. And then I ended up going into like the full, Defeated Sanity, fucking devourment side of toilet bowl metal. Yeah. It's good time.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to hear that a couple of you guys really just like weren't into music like that. It took time to kind of build into it and gain your own tastes and flavors. And Dane, I totally understand where you're coming from though about hearing like Fall Out Boy and MCR and all that shit and just being like, I don't want to deal with this. Like,
well, dude, yeah, but now like me and my sister laugh about it because that is all I listen to, like those records, like old like From Autumn to Ashes and shit.
Oh hell yeah, I love that band,
dude. Yeah, little tiny bands like that, like older Treyu records that I fucking hated when I'd hear them on repeat, but now I have to love them,
Yeah.
That
sometimes you just need to make sure to understand things.
Yeah. I think that too, man. That like sometimes records they just don't resonate with you until you're just at a certain point in your life and you're like, damn, why did I sleep on this for so long? And now it's like, well, at least I can appreciate it now.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, and I was like that with the like more death metal side of things when I first heard it as well. Like, had friends show me like Cannibal Corpse or Obituary shit like that. And I'm like, nah, that's not for me. And now it's all that I want to listen to.
I still remember the first time I heard of Visceration playing. I was sitting again, at my mate's Dusk's house. So just like between two massive speakers that were at least like twice the size of us on either side, just sitting down. I was just like, oh my God, when that first fucking riff came in, Jesus Christ, that grinded my brain.
Visceration Plague, such a good song.
So good.
Great song.
Yeah, man, I am so glad they got Eric Rutan in the band now. Like, he has just like brought their songwriting up like just another notch.
Yeah, that was after Kill, right? Wasn't it?
It was for their most recent record, whatever.
Oh, really? No. Oh yeah, because old mate. Right. Yes, of course.
Yeah, the guy he burned his house down, and
Eric like produced the records, I think, from Hate onwards, and then that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Which another goated decision, like holy fuck.
Yeah. So you guys have had quite a busy couple years, so to speak. I was talking a little bit with this about Matt before you guys all got on, but you did your first full US tour last year. And I mean, logistically first, let's talk about that, because I think that's a lot of things people don't really understand, and maybe people don't really want to know all about that, but like the logistics of getting a band from Australia to America. I mean, how frustrating or like stressful was it for you guys to get over here for your first tour?
Matty, you handle a bunch of the logistics, like the weeds, but like I can fucking speak on the stress, hey? But yeah, go on.
I was just going to say it's like a long and expensive process before we've even left the country. So like to get a working visa for the US is about a 6-month lead time of like forms and interviews and thousands of dollars in fees.
Yeah.
Just to get the tick to enter the country. Like before flights, before anything, you're already like a couple of grand in the hole.
I guess how that tends to work for us is we get offered, like, you either have a visa that's conveniently like when you get something offered, or we get something offered to us, then have to immediately begin that process before we look at like, if any of the other variables or how hard they fuck us. So like, it's rough, man. But especially
and we did get.
Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say we did get offered a tour like 6 months before that to come over to the US, and just couldn't make the visas happen in time.
Yeah.
So we're very glad that we got the Carnifex offer and finally got to get over there.
Yeah, that was a good lineup. I was reading recently that they're about to like raise all the prices on that stuff. Is that going to affect you guys going forward? Or are you still in that window of like, you'll be okay if you get a tour within the next few months?
No, we've just had to renew all the visas to come over with Oceano. So it's restarted the whole process again.
I know the cost. I know I know what you're talking about. I saw that as well. I think we have to deal with a fraction of that. I'm not sure.
I think we've gotten in before they've actually like put the prices up, like real world.
That's
so
good.
We're lucky. But we'll have to deal with it going forward. Like every time we come over, we're probably going to have to go through that.
It'll definitely fuck us in the future.
Future fuck.
Not good.
And then on top of that, it's what, like a 17-hour flight.
Yeah, that's insane.
From Sydney to LA. So it's like,
that's it.
Yeah.
Like it's once you get that flight, dude, I'm probably the worst on the flights. Like I fucking just hate flying, hate heights. I'm more okay with the like international, like those planes are bigger. I can deal with all the turbulence and shit more. I still fucking hate it. Me and Jack just nuke ourselves with drugs before we get on any flight. I'm
I'm still so
like,
sorry. When I flew it with him last time, I didn't know that he was scared of heights, and I was just like, we were turning in the plane. I'm just like, "Oi, Dane, look at that! Like, look how sick that looks! Like straight out
the window,
down
Dane. Look how high up we are." I'm like, oh, I like
so
my palms get my palms get sweaty.
That was just to go to Melbourne, but yeah, Nic's bopping along full of childish wonder about being on a plane, and Dane's white knuckling it the whole way home.
Yeah, that was fucked up. Yeah, I almost headbutted him. But it's worse, dude. Like the what was it, 14 and a half hours to LA, which is like fucked. But we did the like 20 something, not, it was like 17 hours on.
Oh my God.
No, it was 21. It's the third longest flight in the world. That was
No, but the Europe ones, what were they? That was like 9
and
14.
24 a lot.
So 9 hours and then 14 hours. So we already did a 14-hour flight and then had to do a 9-hour flight right after that to Europe. So I was a fucking zombie. But then, so by the time we did just a 14-hour flight and then got out in LA, it was cool. I'll say that. Like, comparatively to Europe, which is a fucking hellscape. Like, not the place, the flight.
Yeah.
Like, maybe also a bit of the place.
But
yeah, say
that
we're going
flying
there
though, man.
Yeah.
Like Freddie used to have to get me hammer drunk to fly me home after their tours because like I just couldn't flying across country. I was just like, I can't do it, man. I'm the same way as you, man. Like I can't fly. I hate it.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about it freaks me out, and I get better with it, but like, yeah, I don't know.
I'm not human in here.
Yeah. But yeah, it is what it is, man. It's like it's all worth it, right? To get over there.
Yeah.
I think what does make it cool is we don't get to do big tours over here, very big, unless we're hitting a whole bunch of regional spots and like twice and 3 times, whatever. Like in the US, we actually get to, and Europe, we get to hit a whole bunch of, states and places that, we get to see a whole lot of the world and then fuck off home. So it's a bit surreal for us on that side of the coin, right? Like I think if it wasn't as far away, it wouldn't feel so fucking crazy for us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I would love to hear about. Is like some of your guys' experiences on this tour. Is your first time over here? Like, did you guys go get a chance to sightsee? I know Fred's pretty good about being like, "Hey, come with me, let's go see this." And I don't know if you guys got to hang out with them much, or just some stories you may have to kind of like, just sharing stories about what you guys did.
We like, so I'll speak to that a little bit. As soon as we got to LA, I mean, we did everything that like, I feel like if you're Australian, everything you would do when you got here, right? Like, especially if you're a little bit like us. Like when we got to Texas, we were like, all right, where's the like Texas Chainsaw House? Where is that? Oh, that's 5 hours that way. Fuck. Well, let's just go to the venue. Like, we didn't really go and see much of the like, but I get like in LA, we went to like, fucking beaches and shit. Went to all the Grand Theft Auto spots.
Hell yeah.
Los Santos. Went to a dispensary. Fucking did all that. Like, that stuff is exciting for me. What about in terms of sightseeing? Like, dude, everything spun us out. Like, driving was a massive sightseeing thing for us. Like, you know what I mean? I think the Grand Canyon, I would have like probably died like if I saw that. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's fucking crazy.
So we had that couple of days just to settle in LA, which was cool because, as Dane said, we got to like basically experience the city for a couple of days.
Well, Mount
but
Chiliad.
On the tours, the schedule's like so tight that you don't really get to see much. You just venue to venue to venue to venue, and the days off where you're not playing a show, well, they're built in because the drives are so long. So yeah, it was lots of just peering out the window going, oh, that's the desert, oh, that's the woods. It was cool.
It doesn't sound cool, but it really was. Like it's
yeah.
I mean, maybe it's just time, the way things have changed over time with touring, man. I remember we used to have so much fucking free time in between like loading in. We'd have like 4 hours and be in some city and be like, yeah, let's go here and check this out. And
sorry. No, like
we'd do a bit of that. Like we'd wander around the area around the venue.
That's what I was gonna say. Like we did, like we saw the Breaking Bad house. Like we did.
Oh shit, yeah.
We did a bunch of shit that I thought I'd literally never do. So like, well, fuck, dude. Yeah. What else? Me and Jack went to we had a nerdy moment where we went to an MMA gym that we're excited about, and like that was a mission in itself. But like we're just constantly pinching ourselves that we're at this fucking place. So yeah.
What
Jack, you got any favorites?
Oh, the drive in Canada was pretty good.
That was cool.
Like during the night through the snowstorm from Vancouver to what was it, Edmonton or whatever. It was pretty nice.
Yeah, those mountains are pretty nice up there, especially if it's snowing. Oh my god.
Yeah. And like where we live, it doesn't snow. So
yeah,
I think like the first time I'd ever seen snow in my life was in Germany at the start of last year.
Whoa.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Isn't it,
so when it was snowing
like
in Canada,
for
it's
you
like
guys right
this
now?
is this. Yeah, it is.
Is what?
Yeah.
Is it technically like winter right now for you guys?
Yeah, it's fucking freezing.
Yeah, it's so cold. My family has a calendar in the kitchen. I have no idea where it's from, but obviously it's Northern Hemisphere because it's like it's July. I'm gonna have a coffee and go to the beach. I'm like, there's not a chance I'm going to the beach in the middle of July, brother.
Are you outside? It's freezing.
Yeah. Look, this is my MacGyver. Technical difficulties.
Oh, okay. I see.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm so glad that like, even though it's like a struggle like monetarily to get over here, like that we're still able to like get bands over here from Australia, man, because there's some good shit over there. There always has been, I mean,
yeah, man, there's like something to be said, I think, for like when everything lines up, right? Like I think when bands over here do well enough, like it's infectious overseas, so they want us over there, which helps us a lot. And then we get to maybe bring some cool American bands over here, which, like does Australia big favors. So like, as long as that little like system keeps going, I think it'll be all right.
Yeah, I think, man, my buddy that lives over there, he's always trying to get me to come like take a trip over there, and I've always been curious, like what is kind of like the metal scene over there like? I know it's such a dumb like cliche question, but I have like no what do you call it? Oh my god, I'm blanking on this fucking. Hey, this is what
I know what
you
mean.
No through line of like what, besides like the more well-known bands out of your country, you guys obviously, but like what is kind of like how does the music scene work over there?
The local scenes are really interesting, I think. I mean, it's quite funny. I'd say that like the major cities in Australia. I mean, I'm not sure what Perth is like, because I haven't really been over there. And Adelaide, I haven't been there too many times, but each of the major cities in Australia, I'd say, have like a weird sort of niche for what's going on in the local scene. Like for some reason, Sydney has just like this weird, like power metal and like heavy metal thing going on that is just really interesting. I don't know, bro. It's just strange to me. It's just really strange to me. But I mean, like Melbourne's cool too. I mean, I haven't really seen that too much either. Maybe Jack can probably talk more about the Melbourne local scene, but definitely it's weird in Sydney.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, here it's more like there's a lot of grindcore here.
Yeah.
That's like a little like niche hub is all grindcore and like
all right
bands like that.
I guess like it used to like maybe what these guys, to add to that, it used to be a lot different. If you flew over here now and tried to get a scope of what like our local scene's like by like going to shows, whatever, you'd probably constantly hear, especially from like I don't know 25 and older. Like, dude, it used to, not even all that long ago, it used to be so much better than it is right now for some reason.
Honestly, I reckon COVID probably did a lot to that. It was kind
probably.
of burning pretty quick before COVID as well, but I feel like that was sort of a big nail in the coffin.
Well, what I feel like happened with that was like, you know, two things happened. Like all the bands that were established and like worked during that time and did what they could with that time ended up kind of coming out the other end of it okay. And if you didn't, or if you dropped off or whatever, it was much harder to come back out because you're not established anymore or whatever. Like you haven't been on everyone's mind or radar. Like whereas before, like, so some more context to that, right? Like now that shows are fewer, um, bands are more selective, I find. But like back in the day, there used to be just so many shows every night, like every weekend that like bands had put on, like little house shows, all ages shows. We don't have like an all ages venue anymore anywhere. I think really like it's kind of pathetic. I can't really name many local fucking bands anymore. And I used to be able to fill, like I used to run little festivals myself. I used to be able to fill them with just little bands from the area. So it used to be fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's a bit decrepit at the moment, but there's high hopes.
I think that I was just gonna say, jumping off what the boys have said, I think the big problem is like there's still a bunch of like cool bands just starting. But and then a bunch of the bands, you know, that we came up with have gotten bigger and tour less, but the tours are bigger. We're all heading overseas, but it's that like middle pocket of bands that were like going to be the next ones to come up. They all kind of broke up over COVID. So like all of that sort of middle of the scene that would be like the headline acts for local shows have all dropped off. So like the local shows are small. They're bands that unless you're going to the venues every week, you're not really aware of them because they haven't made enough noise yet. And then the bigger tours are still the same bands that they've been for a while.
Yeah. And the other thing as well that I noticed about, like, again, mainly Sydney, because that's where I go to like all the, you know, local shows, is like people, right, it takes so much for people to get interested in you nowadays. It's like everyone's got such like a like egotistical pride about what they enjoy and what they want to like get into at shows. Like you'll find so many people that just go like stand like way back at the room and like never come to the front. And like there's only a select few people that they'll do that for. And I understand that, don't get me wrong. But you go to other places and it's like they don't know who you are. They'll go straight to the front gate. Like they're at the, you know, stage. They're right there for you the whole show. And I've seen like 60-year-old men doing that with like, you know, a briefcase in one hand, a suit and a beer in the other hand. It's like it's so interesting seeing how it changes in different places.
Well, I was talking to Blake about this yesterday, where it was like Sydney used to be like mosh culture. Like, you know, you could like everyone's mosh style was a thing and you had to like go home and practice. And like now that is fucking dead. Like there's none of that. Other little things I miss, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys all make a good point about like COVID definitely changed the way things were going for a while there because like, you know, nobody was touring and the bands that were just starting to come up either lost all their momentum and quit or they're having to start over from square one and get back up there. And then, you know, me and Matt were kind of talking about this is like then everybody just started touring again all at once. So you had all these fucking jam-packed tours and shows and it was like, well, how do I choose between all this stuff again? It's great that all these bands are getting out there and touring again, but now it's caused a little bit of a weird like backup, so to speak, you know, in how things are kind of like going
it was
on.
rough. I had like 3 of my favorite artists of all time come at once, played the same weekend back to back, and I was like, "There's no way I can afford these 3 shows." But they literally like, "What do I do?" Sacrifices have to be made. Needs.
Yeah. That's the other issue, man. Ticket prices have gone way up. It's kind of crazy, but it is what it is, man. As long as you guys are getting paid, that's what matters.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, despite all that, you guys have been pretty fucking busy. That's the thing that I've noticed. And when your guys' album came out in 2023, right? Last year?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I had followed you guys kind of loosely because of my friend that lives over there. And when that record came out, I I played it at my work a lot, and I worked in a retail store. So that was always fun having like rednecks in the South come in and hear To the Grave playing over the sound system at work.
That's
awesome.
fucking sick.
Yeah. But I mean, immediately the thing that struck me is like you guys took, it seems like, I mean, you guys spent all that time during COVID, like really crafting that record. I mean, you had so much stuff. You did like extended cuts afterwards. I assume that's where that all came from.
Yep.
So,
well, yeah.
I mean, you guys are just like writing machines, I assume, right now. Like, and you already got more stuff coming out. So, what does that look like? How do you guys keep so busy where like, you guys are you guys always like demoing or writing stuff? Like, how does your guys' writing style and process kind of work between the group and everybody?
You got the floor, Jack?
Oh, I mean, I don't know why. It depends. I think now after this one, have them like do these tours and then get back into it. But yeah, I kind of just like constantly demo stuff. And like for the last, one that's coming, how many albums was it? Technically, this was the third one. So there's 2 fully written albums that were like, nah, it's not the vibe.
Yeah.
It works out too, where like I'll do like random demos of stuff and then that'll get added. So I guess, I don't know. Plus, we're pretty like, Nick came in a bit later. He still had influence. The 3 of us kind of like all just like vibe. It's like, oh, let's do this, like, and go from there to kind of like, I don't know. I think because we don't have like, now we don't really have like set rules of like how songs should be or that. It's a lot easier just to flow and be like, get a product out of it instead of being like, this has to sound like director's cuts, which then it would be like, yeah, sure, like that never would take so much longer compared to like, I guess our new style of just like, fuck, let's just see what we can do that is new and different.
If I can add to that really quickly so what Jack's saying with the 3 albums, after we released the last record, Jack went and started writing again. Like we wanted to stay ahead. Thank you. We wanted to stay ahead and just have music because we just released an album and we were always like, we didn't want to tour a bunch and then start writing it and then feel like we were on the back foot, whatever. Like, plus call it a bit of like we've been hungry for a long time. Now that we're here, we're catching up, right? That's how I look at it, at least. So anyway, Jack starts writing, writes us a record. We like it. Then we tour a bit. Our moods change. I don't know. Yeah, the wind shifts, and then we want to write a different record. So then he does, and then I don't know what, like, anything could happen. We like it. Jack goes, no, I've got something else, and then wrote us like Everyone's a Murderer, which like was it for us basically. Like like one of the albums was fucking like basically Gojira, like Meshuggah vibes. And yeah, I don't know, like fucking kind of forget what the other one was, just a bit more.
It was like Director's Cuts 2.0 kind of, but it was like, it just didn't feel right.
Very new. We shook that off the chains a little bit. Dude, Jack's a fucking machine. He's being humble about it, but it's not even like he doesn't even spit shit at us all the time. It's just when he's on and like, TTG, train to go, brother. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Lots of it seems to happen like with Jack's writing in the background. Like we know he's doing it, but we're not getting a constant update of like every couple of weeks. Oh, here's a new one. Here's a new one. Here's a new one. So when the 3 of us got together to work on this new record and we were chatting and we were like, okay, cool. So we know we've got these 2 albums worth of demos. Jack was like, nah, I didn't like them. So here's another like 15 that I wrote in since the start of the year. Like,
That's insane, dude.
Okay, sick.
I remember.
Let's go.
I remembered what it was. I remembered what it was because we played. I said it yesterday. With old mate, we did the tour in the States, and then we kind of just realized a whole lot of things about the music we want to play live, the music people want to hear when they're standing in front of us. Like, I can see their faces. I can see the honesty in their faces when they're not moving. They don't give a fuck about the like any of the boring bits. So we wanted to make our music and our shit fun. I've always like, I don't know.
You want that crowd reaction.
I want that, and I really want.
We want it to be fun for us as well. Like,
lots
of. We've slowly been ditching the like technical for the sake of being technical bits because it's like it's not fun. We all want to run around on stage and like perform and have a good time, not be stuck there like focusing on what you're trying to do.
Yeah, bits of both, right? Like, but definitely more the other side where we've done a whole lot of that. Like, we've played fucking half an hour sets, 45-minute sets all over the world now of like pretty technical stuff, and to have the crowd stand there for 75% of it and then move around really because like they're waiting for these other parts is cool, but I reckon we can hit them with more. So these new songs, we just wanted them to be fun for us, really. Like Matt said, I think that can't be understated enough. If like we had a lot of fun making this, and we never usually do, like for various reasons, not for like any particular reason. Just like writing is stressful, but this time, man, it fucking wasn't. We had a lot of fun, and it was really, really liberating. And I know it sounds fucking cheesy, but like us, the boys, for about a year now, I've been like, I want us to be happy with this. I want to be able to listen to it. I don't want to listen to our music, hate the dog shit mix on it, hate the fucking shit stolen riffs on it, hate any of that. I want to listen to something we've fucking made ourselves, worked on, the brainchild of us, and then that's the product. Like, you know what I mean? So we did.
Yeah, and to add on that too, like they're like not have like, oh, Matt wants it to sound like this, so there's this one part in the song that's that for that reason. Like we all like everyone has their influence and everyone likes it, but there's no like far-fetched thing where it's like that's only there because of that. Like everything is kind of like there kind of for a reason instead of just being there to make someone happy.
That's a great point. Then I
think
did that.
Like the three of us really got on the same page for it early on in the writing stages, so it wasn't like three people's tastes pulling in different directions. It was like we decided what the album was going to be and ran with that, which it was a cool process. Like Dane said, it was fun rather than work.
I think as well, I love like bands like Bring Me, where it's like every album sounds different. I always want to be able to do that. That's like way cooler than here's the same album 5 times.
But dude, that's what I meant about the riffs, right? Like it's so easy to just fucking start recycling and repeating shit that you've like this deathcore echo chamber, but it's like, fuck, man, I don't know. I like that we've just gone, all right, well, death metal, hardcore, boom, boom, boom. Like it's cool. Like it's
like I don't know what too much of like the writing process was like in the past of these guys, but sort of jumping in at the point that I did with everything that I had done, like going back to what Jack was saying, like taking the rules off of the writing new process, sitting there and like watching the ideas come out about like what we wanted to make happen, and especially with like some of the vocal parts, but that was it was really exciting to see. Like when you sort of get to focus on what you enjoy and how you want to have fun, bro, it like takes the chains off, and the shit that you get to see be made, it's just like it's priceless.
That is something I appreciate about bands and music that I don't think a lot of people do, unfortunately, is when a band stops, like you were saying, like trying to make the same fucking record over and over, and taking that chance of doing something different that either, sure, it's probably going to alienate like a small portion of the fan, listeners, whatever, but the people that are going to jump on because of you like changing direction a little bit, that's probably going to, last longer in anyways. Like, I don't know, man. I always appreciate when bands take those leaps. It works.
Yeah. Well, I guess dude, we really just wanted to see if people fucked with hearing what we fuck with right now instead of like, and yeah, that's a good point. Also, if we had like imagine if Bring Me kept writing any of those records, people aren't going to say that they stopped listening. They're just going to grow up and they're going to listen to other music. They're just going to not fuck with Pray for Plagues Bring Me. That's been like that for 20 years, right? But like the smart thing about that band is they're 2 years ahead of your taste. Like,
yeah,
you don't know you like that album yet. In 2 years, that's all you listen to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's that Back to the Fucking Future moment. Like,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Kids aren't ready
and we're already
it.
Seeing that with the first single from the album with Dead Wrong. The people that don't like it and want us to be doing 2 albums ago, like they've been pretty vocal online about it, but there's been all these new people in saying this is the first thing I've ever heard from you guys, and it rips. Like
or like
for the album.
Yeah, like holy fuck, this is like people being like, oh, this is less polished, and it's like, no, it's less produced and it's less like fucking like fancied up, and I think that's what I like. I don't know.
Yeah, that rawness of record. Man, especially I understand like wanting to make an album perfect and all that, but there is this current trend in metal where like everything sounds too polished. And it's not that it's unlistenable or anything like that. And I get wanting to make a perfect record, but it's like when you go see a band and they can't even like play half the shit live because they just recorded it too perfect, and it's like,
well,
just
yeah, like I don't quite. I mean, I understand, but like it also kind of hit me like a fucking light bulb where it was like, we don't have anybody standing up there playing violins and we don't have a choir, so why is that blasting through the PA over our breakdowns? Like, I just don't. I don't care. I don't think any of these other kids care. Like, and yeah, like I think really some of our music has been at that level. That's what I mean about. I wanted to be happy listening to it and not be like, oh, that's a product of its time. That's a product of the poor decisions we made, or we gambled on someone's idea on that song, and yeah. So yeah, I know I'm probably looping here, but
no.
Fuck, man, I'm just happy with it. Like,
yeah, that goes like a million miles for me. Is like knowing that it comes from a place of authenticity and not just like wanting to get another record out to keep hype going or momentum going and all that stuff. It's just like, no, we just wanted to make the fucking thing we wanted to make, and that's more fulfilling than anything I can imagine.
Yeah,
and anytime we'd find ourselves being like, oh, what do we normally do, or will the fans like it? We'd sort of catch each other and go, fuck all that. Do we like it? Do the people in the room right now think this part that we've just laid down is cool? If yes, it stays. If not, do it again.
I literally, and there's people in my life that would be like, a lot of people like that would understand what I'm saying here, but I get punished with my music at work and whatever, being like, oh, rock star, let's put on some To the Grave or whatever. And I want to actually be like, yeah, chuck it on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's changed for me now. Now I'm fucking punishing people with my band. Like,
one thing I was going to ask about, so you guys typically have like a couple like features on a lot of your albums, and I was going to say, man, High Impact, Caitlin on that song, that's like one of my favorite songs you guys have done. Her vocals on that, man, I love the way it like blends with everything. So are you guys continuing to do that with this record? Are there going to be some guests on some of the new stuff?
Yep.
Yeah, there's almost like, what would you call it? Like, if you call that like a bag, or like we've had our hand in that bag, more on this record. What are you doing, silly girl? Hang on. So my bunny's
talking to the rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, my computer's making a lot of noises. That's who I'm talking to. So yeah, like hang on. Yeah,
it's okay. My cat does the same thing sometimes when I'm doing these. She'll like literally jump on my fucking desk, and I'm like, "What are you doing? Get off here!"
No, I know what it is. She's got sleep in her, like gunking out. There we go. I got it out of her eyes. Here you go.
Oh.
Go play. What the fuck was I saying?
We were talking about like guest spots. And
right, yeah. We've been
them.
back. We've been back in that bag, and just also trying not to do the same thing, but like definitely more of that. I loved how that that was such a cool dynamic for us that no one actually had a problem with when they heard it, but like the guitar solos they didn't like. So yeah, it's interesting, but definitely, dude, I fucking love High Impact. I love what Caitlin did, and I love what Sophie did on this record. So yeah, but I really can't wait for everyone to hear that one. That one's because High Impact, I guess lyrically, thematically, whatever, about us losing Josh. This one's about a topic that was real personal to Sophie, who was on the song, like real personal. So that's, I think when people hear that, it's fucking should hit like a brick.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because it's another thing about the band that I think I really appreciate personally. But you guys don't just write stupid cliche death metal, lyrics. You're writing about like real world shit, and what are like. I guess when you're like trying to frame a song, like what is going through like your brain as far as like, hey, this is what I want to write about. Does it fit this song? Like, how do you kind of pick and choose with your writing style?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think a lot of it doesn't actually land on either A or B, which like at times, like let me try to like add to that. Like, it's not like a thing I do intentionally, but it's just my like, I've spoken to it before where it's kind of this like, I don't know, projectile frustration that I throw it like blanket throw it like every song on a record, and then kind of start pulling out the weeds and what these songs are actually about in tiny bits. Like I think generally I've got a pretty like I could write 1,000 songs right now about the same thing and I'll want to release them all and I'll be quite happy writing 1,000 more. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to other things that they find themselves like, for example, on this record, like I knew I wanted to work with another female artist on the record because that was awesome last time. So like my mate Sophie, who sings, she's an animal rights activist in Sydney, and she sings and incredible at both of those things. It made sense for me to ask her. And then when it was like, well, what's this song going to be about? Well, she's more or less spearheaded a campaign in Australia to get the release and rescue of a pig that was filmed undercover being assaulted by a worker. So like sexually assaulted by a worker. And the industry did everything they could to cover that up and put this poor girl who, you would not pick her out of a crowd, but like she risks everything to go undercover and get these animals out of hell. And we had to have her on the record. And that just made sense for the song to be about Olivia, this pig that the 8416 was her tag. And I'm pretty sure the industry slit her throat by now, but like, yeah, so that only made sense for it to be about that. And then, someone could end up in my DMs with some dumb shit one day and it's like, cool, you get a song now. Like,
yeah.
So there's shit like that where it's just like, oh, I don't know. someone tested me on my fucking gang that day, so I made a song about him. Like, yeah.
Forgive me here because I don't know a ton, about like your guys' history with this. So if this is something you've answered like a million times, just feel free to be like,
Go ahead,
nah,
bro.
it's cool. But like how with the animal rights stuff, is that something you all are about, or is it just a couple members of the band? Like what's enlighten me, please, because I am curious myself of like how deep this goes, because I've only recognized it from the last album that was like a lot of the themes on there and everything, and with the new stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
it's all of us.
That's all of us. Yeah, like,
yeah.
Yeah, I think I do see that question a lot, and I don't know if people have ever had the answer they want out of it, but yeah, like this band it wouldn't make sense in my head or really any of our heads, I think, for us not all to be vegan. And yeah, really it's the bare minimum, I think, for this band. But fuck me dead, like if that's weird to anybody else, ask yourself if you'd want anybody in your band that goes against the things you believe in, your core values.
Yeah,
I don't agree with racism, fucking any of that bullshit. Like, no, we don't accept that shit, and we don't accept people who are okay with animal abuse, industrial or not. Like, so, yeah, you can kind of get fucked. I'm not getting up there and saying this band is for complete and total animal liberation, hell or high water. If we're not, like,
yeah.
So, if that answers. Not to direct all that like at you, but it was like we get asked that a lot. I don't know if people get the right answer, the answer they want. So yeah.
Usually I try to steer interviews, but I figured it was like a very common question that you guys could ask. But I didn't really know personally, so I was trying to like for my own sake understand where everybody's kind of coming from. So that's great, man.
Yep.
Yeah, man, definitely. I think it's really important. It's a huge part of what drives, why we want to do this and what it is that we're like. It's a huge part, I feel like, for all of us. You really, I feel like you can't be a part of this band or the community that it's built without at least indulging in at the very
or taking animal rights seriously. Yeah, like yeah, yeah, definitely.
Has it been something like, have you ever had somebody come up to you after a show and like be like, hey, you guys like changed my mind on this thing once I like looked into more of what you were saying?
Every single night.
Fuck yeah.
Without fail. Yep.
The band, and they're in the band DMs and emails as well all the time.
Wow.
Which
hey, you
is
guys are the reason I care, or you guys are the reason I don't eat meat anymore, or I've started being in activism locally.
You guys are the reason I stopped self-harming, because it feels so fucking alone in this world that like wants nothing but to murder animals and make me feel like a fucking loser for caring about it. Like, dude, constantly. We've never been asked that question, man. We're constantly asked if people have shit to say to us after our set. If people have, do people ever have a big problem? You guys ever get stuck? Like, not really. No, we have waves of people coming up to us telling us that we're like helping them, that we're, we've helped them take animal rights seriously. And like, that's why we have fucking, I don't know, man. That's why this is so rewarding for us. Like,
and I think as well, like it's really contagious, like when you sort of, sorry, I'm having a full blown fucking ADHD brain fairies.
You're good, man. Hey, editing.
But, it's like it's really contagious, and like once you get to experience it, you realize like it's never too late to become passionate about something, and it's never too late to like work towards something that you truly believe is for the greater good.
Yeah, I think Dane, you made a good point too. Like those people that like want to be confrontational, they're not gonna. They're fucking pussies. They're never gonna be confrontational. They're just gonna sit there online and type it out, and it's just like those people aren't worth your time either. That's the main thing.
No, exactly. We were all really excited when we had a beer thrown at us, and we can't stop talking about it. It happened once, bro. It happened once, like in Texas, and who the fuck knows? Like that, you know. I kind of thought that shit would happen everywhere and it'd be funny, but like no, they just you said it best. It's all online, and it's like gives a fuck. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Standing up for what you believe in goes a lot longer than like people just fucking writing comments online and stuff like that. Like it's a waste of time.
Yeah, man. That's it. Yeah.
Not to do a hard 180 here, but Jack, I want to talk to you a little bit more about like guitar stuff, man. Talk to me a little bit. Like, are you like a gear guy? Like, what's your setup like? What kind of guitars you use? Like all that kind of stuff.
Tell them.
I'm semi gear related, not super.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna piss.
Yeah, Dane gets bored over this stuff. So
good.
That's okay.
Yeah, so obviously we use 8 strings. My 2 guitars right now are one of 14 or one of 44 Ibanez Prestige that's in gloss white. That one's did all the director's cuts and all the new album. Okay. And then my new backup is the Meshuggah M80. And yeah, we tune to drop E technically. But it's actually interesting in the new album, we've switched it up kind of where I'd say 80% of the new songs are like Dead Wrong, for instance, was actually in drop A.
Oh, nice.
So we're kind of switching it up in that regard, like going back up, because when I joined the band, we were already drop E. So we've kind of ditched that whole low sound because like Matt can talk about this too. With when it comes to live, the bass band in drop E, it is just not good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're finding like the lower tuned stuff, it's just kind of this flubby noise. Like we want that, and with the riffs we're writing that are more like groove based or whatever, you want people to be able to hear what we're doing. So yeah, we've been sort of, as Jack said, moving the tuning up a little bit. Yeah,
pushing big time for ttfg 7 strings by 2025. It's a goal of mine. I promise I will make it happen.
Yes, yeah. I have a 7 string and I've been eyeing an 8 string the past like month or so that I really want to buy, and like I don't know if I'm ready to make that jump yet, but I love 7 strings, but man,
there's a website like Breakdown Generator or some shit, and like it sorts it all out for you. You don't need to spend that money, lad.
Yeah, I play through like that Gojira X thing anyway, so I can like pitch shift anything to make it sound lower.
All sorted.
Matt, do you like record everything for the band, like, or at least for last album you did, correct? Did you do it for this one too?
This one as well, yeah. So director's cuts and the off-cut songs that were part of that cycle, and now for Everyone's a Murderer, produced and recorded those. Kind of made sense, I guess, because it's what I do for a day job. So keep it in-house. It just means we can work a bit more efficiently around everyone's availabilities. Like doing guitars this time, I flew down to Melbourne, spent a week with Jack, tracking down there, and we did all the vocals here in my studio here. Nice. Like when it's in my spot, I can just be like, cool, Dane, come around tomorrow, we'll do a bit. Oh, you've got something on in the afternoon, cool, see ya, come back later in the week. We can just be like flexible. And just create whenever there's a creative moment, we can jump on it, sort of thing.
It's like Dustin, do you have like a brother or something that you like take to work? You give him a hard hat, you say, you got a job, You got to, and you give him a
Not
job,
really,
and he's
but I could bring my cat. Set her up.
But yeah, Matt's like the cat. Yeah. I love you, Matt. No. Dude, yeah, he like that's a good point. Like we keep it all in house. We like, and it's cool as fuck to have, I guess, like Nic working on the like, I guess, the other side of the production, right? All the like fancy stuff that you might hear going behind the scenes that he works with Jack on. Matt helping bring all that together. But like whenever I go around to Matt's house, there's always something new that I get to hear fresh that the boys have done, and it's like, oh, maybe like slightly divert to my ideas, and we can experiment that way instead of this thing. I don't know. I think that's a fun way to do it instead of me constantly getting updates. I get to kind of hear things fresh, and also with Matt taking a like, how do I say it? How would you say it, Matt? Like you kind of just stick the flag in the sand on certain things and go like, that's sick, like that. You know what I mean? We do need that a little bit, or else we go kind of crazy with ideas. And
and like I think the other good thing about working with Matt as well, especially just like, you could go to someone else, get other producers, all that sort of stuff, but when you're close with him and he knows like what we're capable of, he's not afraid to be like, no, that was shit, like do it again. No, that was shit, do it again. Oh yeah, that was the one. Like so, like he'll push you, and you get that's how you get the good takes.
Well, that's how we've ended up with so much. Like I think of the weirdest stuff is me and Matt fry ourselves in that room, and then like by the end of the day we end up throwing some of the weirdest, like that's how the Dead Wrong chorus like came to be. Nick, you were there. It was like end of the day, like what do we do with this? Whereas if me and you were just in that room, it would have been a fucking nightmare. Like
we just like
spoken magic.
Yeah, there is. And it's like Nick said, like knowing the guys, but also knowing when to fight for something to stay when they might not be like totally like excited by it anymore because we've had to do a bunch of takes. It's like, no, just like let's get it right and then it'll be fine. Or the other way of going like, however long we keep, I know you're excited by the idea, but it doesn't work. So yeah, let's sit here for another hour and work through it, but it's still not going to work in an hour. So, let's move on. Yeah. And I think those things come easier from somebody who's as invested in what we're doing, rather than somebody who's external to the band and our experiences and tastes. Yeah.
Dude, it just takes the pressure off.
Yeah. I was gonna say you don't really have to rush things at that point. Like you all can just work at your own pace, and that gives you that creative freedom you were talking about too, to like be able to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think because we're all pushing each other and because we're so hungry and motivated, I think it has the opposite effect with us to lots of bands that produce themselves where things just take forever and you're just constantly tinkering. We're like, let's go, let's get it done. That's why we like have such quick turnaround between releases, is like we're all pushing to get it done as quick as we can.
Like anytime there's like an opportunity to do something, it's just like, let's do that. Like we were recording, vocals. I can't remember which song it was, but then they turn around and like, oh yeah, let's do some like glitchy vocal thing on this. So quickly like downloaded it on my laptop, like chopped it up, made some glitches, this, that, put it back in, and it's like, yeah, cool. Ideas built. Like, they were able to keep working and recording on their thing, and then while I was able to do that in the background. And it's just like, dude, there's so many benefits from like that situation. It's perfect.
What they're saying, we go to work, bro. We go into a bubble and like we get it done. Whether like it's not even rushed, it's just like we're in a creative fucking flow, and
a sweaty body flow.
Yeah, I mean, seizing that's important, man, especially nowadays. Like I was gonna ask, like, there's over the years there's always been this like album cycle thing where it's like you put out the album, you tour, then you do another album, and all that stuff. But now the thing is like bands are like putting out an album, then an EP, and then maybe they'll tour, maybe they'll just put out another album. Like, where do you guys fall in that with like what you're trying to accomplish here? Because it seems like you're just like we mentioned earlier, Jack's just always writing.
I think we like bodies of work, bro. Like we like it's that gets wisdom, bro, where I want to be in a car with somebody, put on my CD, and I don't want it to fucking like I don't want either of us to want it to end, bro. I want it to keep going. I want like maybe that's like a real like smooth brain take on it, but like I like big bodies of work. I like big fucking 10-piece feeds that we give to people. Singles and stuff are cool. Like they're in my head, but and the whole timeline thing, I don't give a fuck about. It's like we said, we all of this stuff has gotten us back to like why did we want to start a band in the first place? Like before we even knew each other, why did we want to do this? Well, we just want to like I want to see if we can make cool music constantly, and like I want to be in a room, play with my boys, and then I want the crowd to like that. So we just went back to basics, bruv. And yeah, I don't know if that answered your question whatsoever, but
yeah.
Okay.
I think we just want to do everything. So if we want cool music out there, and then if that lets us go to someplace cool we've never been before, or tour with a band that we've like that is either someone we love right now or someone we've sort of come up listening to, great. Well, if another release will get us to that, then let's do that as well. And then it's just about doing as much cool shit as we can.
Yeah. Why wait, and why like there's no rules, bro. Like there's a song out right now that's got those in the lyrics, like, or if there is rules, you can just break them. I don't know if you've heard that song.
Yeah.
It's a banger. So like we don't worry about those rules, man. Like someone will fucking get that joke maybe in the comments. I don't know, but like and I'll get my appreciation. Don't you worry.
That's crazy if that's true, bro.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Hopefully when I see
it.
If that answers your question, man.
Yeah. You guys, I mean, you guys have it harder than most bands. Like just like we've talked about earlier, is like just even trying to get out of your country to come over here, you have to work 10 times as hard as everybody else. So the fact that you are doing that, you're working like 100 times harder than everybody else, and like putting your money where your mouth is. And I think that goes a long way for me personally. So, I'm excited for what you guys are doing. I don't know, man. I think the way music is lately, with everybody having access to everything all at once and wanting everything, just to have a constant, like, oh, when is this coming out? New stuff coming out. It's like you got to let albums breathe sometimes too. And I think that
for sure
we're in this weird area of our time where just like it's not the case anymore. So you have to be working.
I guess like I
know just rambled there a little bit.
Yeah, all of this goes with the assumption that and like I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way, that we give a fuck really, like, about if people care, if we like, you know what I mean? You don't have to go and listen to Everyone's a Murderer when it drops out. Well, you should, because it smokes director's cuts. But like, if you really want director's cuts and that hasn't sunk in yet, well, don't delete Spotify and fucking keep listening to that. But like, you're going to be one of the only, so but yeah, I don't know. That's where I'm at really, where it's like we're working, we're doing what we want to do, and I feel like there's a lot of people that fuck with that, and if there's not, then it's cool. We see cool results, and even if it's just smiles on all of our faces, mate, that's valuable. So
yeah.
And it is kind of cool to break that expectation of like, it's every 2 years you do a record. It's like, no, the new one's done already. Here you go.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Watch a Sacred 10-year
Oh,
break up.
we recorded an extra 5 songs in that same block of time. So here's some more. Like, it's cool to be able to do that.
We did do that, by the way.
Yeah.
I meant with offcuts from the last record.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I know. we don't tell them about the. Yeah. Sorry, we didn't do that this time.
Now you got to wait 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, fuck it. Now we're not doing anything for 10 years. You guys, they're not slowing down. Oh, yeah. Instant
That's
breaks.
the new metaphor.
I'm going to Hawaii. Yeah.
You know how long that plane flight is, Dane? You'd hate it.
Well, I'll go live in the fucking Peruvian jungle. Wherever's the closest jungle, bro. I'll go live there.
Yeah, what if you crash and end up on the Lost Island?
Oh, fuck, dude. Don't do that to me. My palms are sweaty. Although, we're not going to get bogged down in Lost, bro. Like, I'm not, like...
I'm doing a rewatch right now. That's where my brain.
Are you really?
Yeah, man. I'm on season 5, so my brain is just that's where it's at right now.
That's such a wild decision to make. I respect it.
It's a 20-year anniversary of when it started, so I was like, you know what? I haven't watched it in like a decade. Let's do it. So
fuck yeah, Raw Dog and Lost.
Yeah. Yep. One last thing I did want to touch on here is your guys' album covers and album art. You have some pretty gnarly stuff. What does that look like when you're coming up with concepts for that, and how do you go about choosing artists?
Right, yeah. I guess that, not to jump in every time you ask a question, but like I did do that. I kind of handle the comings and goings here, the boss of the whole operation, if you will. Look at him seething hatred.
I saw the hands go like this, like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Thinks he's the boss?
Anyway. No, like we I guess I like arrange all the art, but I guess when it came to picking the art is for this time, that was a funny one. For this record, we wanted something that did, I guess, all the same things, but was our own take on the, like, yeah, I guess the Cannibal Corpse, Vincent Locke kind of, that was a big inspiration there, right? Like we really wanted to throw back in the sound, but also throw back in the visuals. I wanted it to feel and look like a record from a while ago. I think Damorph killed that. On the other records, I don't know what anyone's talking about extreme, bro. We're literally just showing people that's how their food's made. So if that's extreme, go vegan. Like, yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I guess you got a good point there, man. Giving that, you're just basically showing them reality, not really.
Yeah, it's a baby pill form reality. That's the he's a.
I don't know, man. If that's like, a lot of people probably see like, I don't enjoy putting dead animals on my fucking album covers either. I don't like seeing it, but me wanting to not see it doesn't make it actually go away. It just makes me not see it anymore. So I think everyone with that attitude needs to fucking uppercut themselves real quick and figure out that, yeah, we don't fuck with animals, bruv. Like, and that's not like, we didn't find the most disgusting picture or anything. If anything, I found the least disgusting one that had fucking fit on, that'd go on shelves and shit like that. But yeah, that is animal agriculture for you. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. It's actually been like kind of weirdly enlightening to me, like, because I I've seen documentaries and stuff like that. I don't particularly like know how bad it is here, because like in our country it's all out of sight, out of mind, and it's so hard to like really figure out what's going on here. It's like, because they fucking just obfuscate everything from like public eye of like what's going on with animals, and and it's harder to like figure out what's going on. But I know it's not good. I know, man, it's not good.
that is exactly why this band exists, I'd say, because for the most part, people in Australia have the same mindset they have in most West everywhere. All over the world, you hear it's not like that here.
Right.
Those videos are from ages ago in this other country. No, like if you and the thing is, man, like it's harder to know about this stuff because the people that, like I said, walk past you every day in the city, these people risk everything. But if if they told a soul, they'd go to jail and they'd have their houses raided and they'd like. So we don't. If they in Australia, the it's always changing now, but no ifs or buts. The penalty for publishing footage of animal cruelty you see on a farm or in an abattoir, any kind of actual cruelty or like illegal, anything that falls outside of the realm of like the humane practices, um, or anything illegal that goes on a farm, the penalty for publishing that footage infinitely worse than the person caught abusing the animal. Infinitely worse. You'll go to jail. That person will maybe get fined if the public pressure is enough, but probably not. So that's why we don't know anything about it. That's why, activists are like punished relentlessly. And that's why like the Animal Liberation Front are on a terrorist watch list because this is big business and animals are profit that they're fucking with. Yeah.
I guess that's the other thing, going back to like the album cover and this stuff sort of being like the baby pilled version of reality. The truth of the situation is we can't actually show you reality like that. Like, you wouldn't be able to go to JB Hi-Fi and find that record and learn about this stuff if we were to actually show the true reality.
Yeah.
We tried it with one of the music videos from Offcuts, and it got pulled from every hosting platform.
Yeah,
and we had to re-edit the video. Yeah.
It's exactly like you said though, Dustin. Like if that if everyone did see that, and like that footage is out there, bro. Like it's not like but isn't it weird that we don't have access to that? That if you can't even just go, I'm not going to take their word for it. I'm going to go to my abattoir and watch for a day. It's like unless you tell them, you give them a date so they can clean up. Fucking like not happening, bro. You're not taking your kids to the fucking slaughterhouse to see how all this shit goes down. They are not letting you see that. That's why that shit is, at least in Australia, it's so far outside the public eye. They don't even drive those like slaughter trucks through our cities, because the public would be fucking horrified. But yeah, man, it makes you think why like they don't show us any of that. If they did, if these places had glass walls, we'd all fucking burn them down.
Yeah, this has really piqued my interest a little more because I live near like a chicken processing plant and it stinks the fuck out of our city real bad. But now I'm like, well, what are they doing in there? Like what goes on in there that I don't know about? Or the city,
nothing humane.
The city that I live in.
Bro, nothing humane happens in a murder factory.
Man.
Yeah. Like and we delude ourselves into thinking that's the case, and they do everything they can to help us feel deluded and safe, and like it goes down the line of like happy packaging and all that shit. But we know, man, a slaughterhouse. What the fuck do we think goes on in there? Like,
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm absolutely guilty of like out of sight, out of mind, because like I just don't. I don't know a lot about it, so I just kind of like.
Well,
but when I'm talking to people like this and can learn a little bit more, that's where I'll be like, okay, let me go look into this a little bit more, so I can like be more informed about what's going on.
I think it's good to have that sort of intrigue, as you say, the curiosity. Like, it's good to sort of be curious, find out maybe maybe all of this shit that I've been learning about my whole life is kind of not true. Maybe this stuff that I'm eating, like why are we actually eating eggs and bacon for breakfast every day? Wait, why are we actually drinking milk like every day as society? It doesn't make sense when you start looking into it and you start understanding why these things came into place in the first place.
Yeah, don't take what Nick's right. Like it's like so much common sense like starts to like all these light bulbs go off in your head when it. But like again, don't take my word for it. Go to a dairy farm, ask them where all the male calves are that are born into that industry, because dairy mums, we only get milk because cows are impregnated, right?
Mhm.
For 9 months, like all mammals, then they give birth to a baby. Where are all the males? Well, they're not going to give us any milk, so they kill them as soon as they're born. Go to a dairy farm, ask them what they do with all their male calves, if that's a place you want to give your money to.
Mhm.
In Australia, it's legal to kill them with a sledgehammer, bruv. So, like, I wonder what, that's
Bro,
fucked, man.
it's fucked up. Like,
For milk, for
my
cheese.
brother lives in like this small
Fuck yes.
like town village, and like you go, I'll be sleeping there in the night, and you just fucking you hear screams from like the calves basically being ripped away from their mothers. It's just like,
Yeah.
where that shit's happening around the corner. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah. Putrid. That's fucking disgraceful. Sorry to get grim, bruv. Like, yeah,
No,
it's
hey, you know what? Honestly, I'm gonna let it go out on that note because I know you guys have to. You said you had to be out by like 11. I think it's almost that time, right?
Jack, you got to go to workies, don't you?
Yeah.
Dude.
Man, this was an awesome chat though. Like, we can do a round 2 or some shit when we got some more time. When we like,
dude, absolutely,
Yeah.
I'd fucking love to. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
mean, I heard you guys talking about MMA. We can talk about that, movies, whatever you want. Doesn't have to be.
I
about
won't
the band.
shut up, bro. Are you serious?
Oh.
Like,
I mean, hey, you just saw the prayer fight, right?
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like not happy.
Oh, really?
I love
Not
Yuri
happy.
fan, bro.
Oh man.
I love Yuri. Anyone else but Yuri, I would be like, yes, I'm like, of course, perfect. But
I like Yuri too. Yeah, but yeah, it sucks, man. He's just one of those. He has his number. I don't know.
bro, when he stands up. Sorry, Jack, I know you went to say something. You see him where he stands up, Alex looks at him, and then he like drops again. It's like Yuri got KO'd by Alex looking at him. It's like, fuck, dude.
I wish it was more competitive. I want like a full 5-round fight to a decision with them.
Yeah,
Mm.
that would be good to see that too, man.
The MVP Ian Gary was a
Yeah, it was a weird one.
That was contentious. Yeah, horrible. Yeah, but
Especially after him being like, "I'm gonna stand with you the whole time," and then he fucking doesn't.
I really want to see them run it back, and then I know they won't. But yeah, I just wish that fight went so differently.
Yeah. Guys, well, I don't want to take any more of your time. I know you have shit to do today. Matt, Dane, Nick, Jack, guys, thank you so much for doing this. Seriously, this was a blast.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we really appreciate it. Thank you, Broski. Appreciate it. Where'd you say you're in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, I'm a little bit north in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
All right.
Man, if you're free when we roll through and you're close in the area, we can chuck you on the door or whatever. Make sure you fucking at least take that stress if you want to roll through. That'd be sick.
Yeah, I'll be there. When is that?
I'm just checking the date now.
Sure, it'll be
Atlanta's on the 15th of September.
Oh yeah, it's months away. I can do that.
At the Masquerade again. So,
oh nice.
If not, we understand, bro. We only flew 14 hours. I don't care.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Stay safe, man.
Yeah.